Hello and welcome to another how-to video of Infor's PLM Discrete version 10.2. I am Brian Rockwell, PLM Solutions Architect at Rockwell Consults. The workflow is considered the lifeblood of PLM as it creates the processes necessary to carry out the various tasks and change management from within engineering to the handoff from engineering to production. At times, this process may require updating to fit ever-changing business requirements. Sometimes the process needs some help in determining what is the issue and how it can be resolved. This how-to video will concentrate on the workflow template itself and making sure it is set up correctly the first time. We will explore some of the common mistakes made and provide some solutions. Okay, so we just created this new user and we want to assign that user into this task here. If we notice, we currently have the Hulk, but we see that Thor does not appear. So something's wrong. We need to determine why his name does not appear in the list here. So in order to do that, we are going to look at his user information, and there's nothing here that seems out of the ordinary other than this role ID which says none. In order for you to have the ability to be assigned to any task, you have to have a role that is anything other than none, meaning that you cannot do anything in PLM. So let's update that, and let's go back to our task here and do an update again and see if it appears. And it still does not appear. Okay, so let's go back to our user and see if there's something else that's missing. We notice that he is not attached to any group, so he won't receive any group tasks, but that is not necessarily a problem. However, we do notice that he is not attached to any project. He needs to be a member of one of the projects in order to receive information, and the project we're currently working in is the test project. So even though he has an observer here as part of the project, that's his default role, he needs to actually be added to that project. Okay, so let's go back here and let's try that one more time and see if we have any difference. And now he appears. Okay, so what I have here is a business process template that I have created with a few steps in it, and as we see in the background here, our status here for the ECO2 is incomplete, which means that there is something wrong with this workflow template. In order for us to determine what that is, we will have to go through each step and determine what it is that each step is missing, and then even at the end we may still not be able to go to completion, and that means we will have to dig into this a little bit deeper. So the first thing is let's look at all of the user steps and the group steps and verify that we have somebody assigned, and as we can see here, nobody's assigned for this. So I'm going to put in Ironman, and for the group, it's also missing an assignment, so therefore I'm going to select purchasing. Okay, so it just told me that I don't have a leader for this group, so therefore I need to select a group obviously that has a leader, or make sure that that group has a leader. So I will select engineering for now, but this is something again to keep track of when this type of thing does happen. There's nothing to configure for the checkout that is already set up. This one does have some configuration. We could do a skip step, obviously, but it's just not that common. I mean, you can do that as a default, but that's kind of defeats the purpose of having the workflow step. So we definitely need to add a company so that it recognizes the fact that there is somebody that this needs to send this to. Okay, let's check this one, and we see that this is already assigned, so we don't need to go there. And we see that here we are missing user, group, or an email address, something, and it normally requires at least a PLM user. You cannot simply just put in some external email addresses here and expect this to work. It may pass the validation, but it may not work later on. So we'll at least select that, and we could put in purchasing, and let's update that. And for the checkout, there is one small thing that needs to be done, and that is the checkout type. And we need to either determine whether it's minor or major. Now, if you're not aware of what major minor checkouts means, then not a problem. This is something that can be reviewed later on. Okay, so we've reviewed the basic validation piece that we can do for each step. So let us go back here and do a refresh, and it now says it's complete for dispatch. So we apparently have fulfilled the requirements. However, there's one small issue here that still needs to be resolved, and that is because of the fact we have two black dots here at the end, the workflow can get confused as to what is really trying to occur, because what happens is when these two steps are active, it needs to know at what point does it allow the last step to be completed before it moves on to the next step. This can cause some issues right here because of the way it's set up. There are two ways to solve this problem. One way is to either remove this and put this in as a consecutive step in the middle between here, or we close the loop. And by closing the loop, we select we could select these two here because we want to close the loop afterwards, meaning that these both can finish at the same time and we're fine. Or we can close the loop here like this, and then this would become the next step to fire after both of these tasks have completed. Again, this is all relative to how you set up your system and what you're trying to do. Because in this case, I'm actually trying to make these two complete first before it goes to step 7. I will go ahead and close my junction here, and now it has a closed loop. It shouldn't change this because now it's not happy. Okay, what did I do that caused this thing to have problems? There may be some other validation going on here. Let us look at our, instead of Iron Man, I'm just going to select the Hulk. And let's see what happens. Okay. Apparently with the closing of the loop, it changed something in the validation. Again, this type of thing is very, very common, where if you make a small change, it can cause this thing to go back to an incomplete state. And that's why this video is even being made, is to be able to give you an opportunity to see some of these little things that come up and being able to correct them. For more information about other how-to videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. To learn more about Rockwell Consults and how we can improve your manufacturing processes and data management, go to rockwellconsults.com.